And then Judy's like, I think we're still live. And then finally,
They finally just shut down
we're not live
completely.
anymore.
Yeah, I remember that day.
And I was like, oh, it was such a good segment.
Did you still
that
publish
day.
what you had, or no?
People got to watch what we had,
Yeah.
and then the show ended. Instead of Jerry logging out, the show just says, poof.
Done.
Jerry and Alex have vanished from the face of the earth. So good morning, everyone. We're excited. This is going to be a fantastic show, I can already tell, because we have some wonderful guests in store for you today.
Absolutely, yes.
We're going to be joined shortly by Nikki Butler, the spa director at Millhouse Spa at the Inn at Willow Grove, as well as April Hanley, the massage therapist at the Millhouse Spa at the Inn at Willow Grove.
Just saying that makes me feel good already.
I know, it
All
relaxes
loose.
you already.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm getting the good vibes already. And then later in the show, we're going to be joined by Courtney Katashian. She's the executive director of the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Oh,
We're gonna learn
wow.
about
Okay.
all the things that the Bureau does, the ways that small business can cooperate, get involved, can be out there so that people,
That's
when
right.
people
So
come
people
visit
know.
Charlottesville
That's right. They
and
know where you
Albemarle,
are. That's
they
right.
know who you are and they know who to come see. So it's going to be a fantastic show. Be sure to like and share. Let us know if you have any questions, any comments for our guests. Be sure to send them our way. It is chilly again, so I can officially say today your café con leche. And go
That's
sit
right.
down in a nice comfy chair and turn on Today Mañana.
It's changing, I'm sure. Last week was beautiful. Today's nice, but it's a little cool. It's a little nippy. Yeah.
The wind alone is like the signal that everything's changing.
Exactly.
You get
yeah.
those days, 4 straight windy days,
Yeah.
and you sit there and say, it's changing.
That's right.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today Mañana. I'm Alex. This is Xavier. We're really excited to have you joining us on a chilly morning here in Charlottesville, Virginia, but a perfect morning to just relax
Yes.
and get a nice, wherever your beautiful spot is, and put on your computer and watch a little Today Mañana. Listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you choose to listen.
So many places you can listen to it now.
So many ways to access Today Mañana and let us know what you're thinking. Be sure to like and share. Send us your comments, your questions. Going to have 3 fantastic guests today lined up in store for you. We're going to be joined shortly by Nikki Butler, the spa director at the Millhouse Spa at the Inn at Willow Grove, as well as April Hanley, the massage therapist there. So the perfect
good.
relaxation. And then later in the show by Courtney Katashian, the executive director of the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau. Always excited to be here on the I Love Seaville Network set. Thanks to Judah behind the camera, making us look good as always. As always, we're presented by Emergent Financial Services, and we are powered by, first off, Castle Hill Cider is one of our favorite partners, and they got like a bunch of awards recently,
Wow.
which is super exciting that I was glad to see, because I really need to go out there and see that beautiful
Then this time of year that
space in the
everything started
spring.
to bloom, I
you know?
suspect.
It was gorgeous in the winter, so I can think it's only even more beautiful now that spring is here. But their dry hopped won the awards, Cider Craft Magazine Awards judges picked in the hopped category for ciders.
Wow.
So that was a big news. And then they got 4 medals in the Virginia Governor's Cup. Apparently it's one of the most stringent wine cider competitions in the country. And they awarded 4 medals to Castle Cider, gold for their terrestrial cider, and then a silver for Levity, Celestial, and Serendipity. All of them made in 2020, all 2020 vintages. And because we had tasted, I don't know if you
2020.
remember, Levity.
2020. So this is the 2020. Okay.
So they won these awards for that vintage.
Well, congratulations.
You and I
That's
had
fantastic.
tasted, that's not surprising, you and I tasted Levity.
Wait, is that the one we
that's
tasted?
the one
I
we
didn't remember the
tasted
name, but yeah, that was
when
good.
Rob and Don came on,
Yes,
so they're gonna,
yes.
I'm sure they're gonna talk about it again when they join us next week. They're coming on March 17th, on St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day,
To chat with us. So we're gonna have Rob and Don next week, and that'll be a lot of fun, I can imagine.
I'm sure it will be.
Always, of course, love to be partnering with Aquasivo Hand Car Wash, with the Vitae Spirits, with the Jim Seville, with the Miguel Proradin Serious Credit Insurance, and of course with GBS Financial Services. And I know we recently had a little, you got to meet some from previous guests from Today Mañana.
Well, no, what I wanted to say was, if you remember, I think it was maybe a year ago, probably a little less than a year ago, we had Reese Landscaping here.
Father-son
Remember
duo,
Esteban and
Latino
Alex
business.
came here. I tried Latino business, and so we needed some landscaping. And even though as much as I like to do, your beautiful mother finally said, I think this is a little over your head to do, and. Oh, obviously, they were large trees, so they're over my head, but everything else was over my head also. So I asked them to come over and help us out, and she said, I just never seen, because they work with with Alex's uncle, Esteban's brother, and she said, I've never seen guys work that hard and that well. I mean, she says, the minute they got here, they just went to work, and then at lunchtime they stopped, they had their lunch, and then boom, back to work again. And it's just
so
the job,
skilled.
and you saw it. I mean,
they
the
do.
job they've done is just
It's
amazing.
amazing.
So I just want to say thank you to them, because it's just been amazing work. And if you're looking for some landscaping, give them a
Big
call.
shout out to them.
Absolutely.
Support, that's what we're about, supporting local businesses, supporting Latino businesses.
Exactly.
In particular, always partnering with For Adelante, I should say, the Latino business networking group here in Charlottesville, Virginia. So, I mean,
That was a great entry, right?
I know.
I
Wasn't
gave you that
perfect
entry.
little segue. You were like, I think you forgot to mention For Adelante, which is a shame because you're the president of For Adelante. So let's throw in some Latino business here on Today y Mañana. So appreciate that, as always.
Anytime, Alex, anytime.
Oh, thank you. So, I mean, I'm so excited for today. I say we just jump right
absolutely.
into it.
Yes.
Just jump
Yeah.
right into it. So we're really excited to welcome to the show Nikki Butler. She's the spa director at Millhouse Spa at the Inn at Willow Grove, as well as April Hanley, who is the massage therapist there at the Millhouse Spa. So, April,
morning,
Nikki,
ladies.
thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for the
Thank
invitation and your warmth and kindness so far. Thank you.
Oh, of course. It's a great pleasure to have you on. A little shout out. Thanks, Robert Boland, for watching the show today. Got Nidla Zerby watching the show today. So a bunch of, already the feed is probably going to get active here. So, I mean, tell us, for those who don't know you, tell us a little about each of yourselves and how you came to be with Millhouse Spa.
Yeah. Well, my name is Nikki. I'm the spa director. I've been with the Millhouse Spa for going into my 5th year now. I was there when it opened, and it has been just an incredible journey. The inn itself is a beautiful boutique resort in Orange, Virginia, owned by an incredibly lovely family, the Skyble family, hands-on family.
Yes.
And it's just a little majestic piece of ethereal paradise. It's just lovely.
How about yourself, April?
All right, so I've actually been massaging for going on about 5 years, but I'm within my 1st year at Millhouse Spa. One of the other therapists at the spa was actually my massage instructor in school.
Okay.
So I jumped on board. I was commuting over an hour to get there for a few months. I loved the job that much. And now I am a recent transplant, so I live out there now. So I can get there at a moment's notice. So.
Fantastic. Love
fantastic.
it. I mean, and I've been
That's
seeing yours. It's so true. It's such a beautiful
It really
area.
is.
It is.
So I've been seeing in the desk. We'll see. We've got some pictures that'll be rotating
Yes.
for them on the screen. Just such a beautiful
So
spot.
just getting there, as soon as you get there, you begin to feel peaceful,
It's
right?
part of
And
the
then-
experience. It
yeah.
really is. I go from northern end of Albemarle County, and it's cattle country, wine country, absolutely beautiful. And it's again, it's part of the experience of just unwinding on your way there, unwinding on your way back.
Absolutely.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump. Initially, I felt like it was so far away, and now it's
That's a tough
blink of an
commute
eye.
going through all those cows
Oh,
and,
it's so
and
hard, yeah.
scenery. Yeah. That's bumper to bumper there.
That scenery. If it's slow, it's because you're taking your time and enjoying
Absolutely,
the drive. That's
yeah.
why it'll
That's
take a
right.
while to get out there. Exactly. So I mean, I guess that's one of. I was going to ask, what are some of the unique things about Millhouse Spa and what people can find there? I mean, we've answered some of them already. Just the beautiful space, but what else
Yeah.
would you say is unique and beautiful about the area?
I think the geography, as we said, the necessity to unplug. You're not going to fly in there on your lunch break. You're going to take at least half the day, or hopefully you're going to spend the night and really take some pause out of life, and just enjoy the relaxation that we offer. The aesthetic is gorgeous. The owner herself has an incredible eye. She was an art dealer, and the aesthetic is so special. It's not sterile. It's not that typical all white spa blank canvas. It's really unique and warm and inviting. Of course, we have the pool in the warmer months. We do cocktails. We do food down there. So it doesn't really
Yes.
sort of stop at your service. We invite you to stay longer. Our motto: unwind, indulge. Yeah, it's It's an indulgence. It's lovely.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
maybe you could tell us a little bit. I mean, when I think massage, I mean, I've never had a massage, so other than in my shoulders. So when I think of massage, you get a massage in your shoulders, you're good to go. So tell us a little bit about the different. Are there different type of massages that people get, and they're specific to areas of your body or your mind or?
Absolutely. I think everyone has a unique experience with massage. Either we're seeing people for relaxation or a therapeutic clinical experience,
Okay.
or they're suffering from a long-term autoimmune dysfunction, and this is something that they're maintaining their health with. We do intakes with our guests prior to them going into the room, and we modify that experience so it is exactly what they need it to be. We're not selling you on any protocol that we already have in place. You design the experience, and we hopefully deliver that experience.
Absolutely.
And you enjoy giving massages?
Absolutely. I
would
think one of
hope
the
that.
most, yes, sir. One of the most gratifying things I find for a lot of the clients that we see who are trying to maintain is when they come back to say, that issue that you worked on a couple weeks ago, completely gone. However, now I have, this is bothering me. I'm like, great. So we've successfully achieved, that set goal, and now what else can we work on? So I love seeing people coming back.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I know.
Nothing like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus that shows just the quality of what they received, that they want to come back and be further healed and
Absolutely.
maintained.
And preventative medicine. I
That's
mean,
it.
hopefully we're a step ahead of treating the symptom if we're hopefully getting it beforehand.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's so
Exactly.
much better. I mean, it's supposed to, unfortunately, we live in a society where, you get a pain, take a drug, right? It's like, aspirin or whatever, take
Which is
it,
getting to
which
less and less
doesn't,
the root
exactly,
cause.
the
Yes,
root cause
absolutely.
is not that, but on a
Exactly.
massage may be able to say, no, you got this tight muscle here or whatever it may be, and that may help out.
Body awareness alone. Often we hear people say, I didn't realize that was tight. I didn't realize that needed attention.
Exactly.
But I think some of our greatest feedback is, I didn't think of anything for an hour and a half. And in our busy, busy world of our minds are constantly, and all of a sudden people have this, they're almost frightened of the lack of busyness or the lack of noise in their mind, but they're also very grateful at the same time. That's to me is like, that's the best.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It is. It's such an important thing. I recall watching a scientific video on the importance of boredom and how sometimes in our modern society we fear boredom. Like the moment you're waiting in line, oh, let me check this phone, let me do this, let me do that. And yet they find that scientifically your mind is able to become so much more creative and imaginative, having experienced those periods where you don't have to think
Yes.
about anything in particular.
Absolutely.
You're just there to enjoy the natural landscape,
Yeah.
like you said, the decoration, the warmth,
Yeah.
the relaxation of
Yeah.
it. So what are some of the things people can, so I guess people can obviously have their massage be customized to them. Are there other services at the spa that they can take advantage of?
Absolutely. Yeah, we offer facials, body scrubs, detox wraps, and within each of those, there's several different variations. So lots of options.
Wow. And then they can stay the night and just enjoy what else is at the resort?
Correct. Well, as a spa guest, you have access to all of the amenities. So we welcome you to stay at the pool. We welcome you to enjoy the grounds. So even if you're not staying at the inn, I always think it's better. I mean, if you can walk out of the spa in your robe and go directly to your room, you've done it correctly. Like that's the. But we have so many day trippers: Charlottesville, Richmond, Fredericksburg. We sort of collect from all of the surrounding counties. It's just a respite for a lot of people, and hopefully more people after hearing this.
That's
Just amazing. Yeah, no, that does sound beautiful. I mean, sometimes you watch movies and you see people, they go in, they have a massage, and I remember one of the movies that we watched on Christmas.
The Last Holiday.
She's over there and she's getting all these, she's getting leaves, hit on
Pelted,
her.
yeah.
She's getting cucumbers in her eyes and stuff like that. So are these some of the things that you get
But
also?
we should do a follow-up with this. You guys should, I'm serious, be our guests. Have services and report back. Because
Yeah.
it's so funny. So many people fear the whole experience. One, they think spa is not my thing. It doesn't, men in particular, kicking and screaming the first time.
Right.
Either their wife drugged them in or someone bought them a gift card and they're begrudgingly using it. And like midway through, they're, when can we do this again? It's changed. It's not the paradigm that I think a lot of people think it is. It's can be whatever you want it to be.
I've always wanted to take like before and after pictures, and sometimes folks allow us to, but I mean, you just see the complete uplifting of moods, the messy hair, then just like that
shift.
Yeah. Really take your time getting off the table.
Yeah,
You'll feel
really
it, but
take your
it's
time.
an immediate just sort of relief, and so I love that before after.
That's fantastic. Well, you guys, you're already getting some love. So Elizabeth Cromwell, she's the president of the Charlottesville Regional Chamber of Commerce, says, love the Millhouse Spa. I treated myself to an afternoon there a couple of years ago. I had a lovely chicken salad and a glass of wine by the pool, followed by spa and excellent massage.
Wow.
So quiet, such a beautiful spot.
Thanks
for
you.
coming,
Thank you
Elizabeth.
so much. We
it's
love
that
that.
whole experience.
See,
the
yeah,
whole
she
experience.
did the whole, yeah, I love that.
So it sounds like she did it the right
Yes,
way.
exactly. Well done.
Well done, Elizabeth. I mean, I'm curious as people who then worked there, like you, obviously you manage the spa, you do the massage. What are some of the beautiful opportunities as well as like challenges of either running the spa or being a massage therapist?
Yeah.
And you can decide who wants to go first on that one.
I'll speak first if you don't mind. Staffing, of course, is difficult because of where we are. Convincing people that this is a better option than what they have where they are. So getting them there is a little tricky, but we don't have a lot of turnover with our staff. I hope that we provide them with all the autonomy that they need to feel as though they're not sort of in a rigid environment where they can't express themselves. I think a lot of people go into this industry and they already have sort of an idea of what type of therapist they want to be, and we invite that. We have very little, again, protocols that it has to be this way and it has to start here and it has to end there. I hope that they all feel that they have that freedom and their personality is expressed in each service. And I see that with the guests. They absolutely love April, and they're going to come back and see April. They love Brittany. They just, they make a connection, and that's really important for not having, again, that sterile environment that sometimes you see in other establishments.
That's exactly what I was going to
You
say.
feel
But
that?
I love
You feel
that.
that? I hope you feel that.
Absolutely. Again, I was commuting over an hour to drive
That says something.
every week, 3 to 4 times a week. So I've absolutely enjoyed it, and to be able to continue to grow and learn more about massage, just the art of massage. But Nikki actually allows me to still have my own business and my own clients and still be able to contribute to the spa. So it's an amazing balance that I've been able to find. Whereas, other spas, sometimes you do not have that freedom.
Yeah.
It's very regimented. And that was something that I used to say, I'm never going to work in a spa. I'm only going to be my own business. And this particular location has changed my mind about it. So no
Wow,
regrets.
that's amazing. And as people who love, obviously, entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
it's beautiful that you allow to, because once you are, because in some ways you're an entrepreneur yourself.
Yeah,
and-
very much so.
And you're able then to have that, like you said, the freedom to explore things you want to try, to connect in a deeper way with the clients, because it's not just a churn out, in and out process.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's not the
exactly.
institution that they're forming a connection with, it's you, it's the other staff there, it's the people that are there. And I think with massage probably similar, it's totally different industry to financial services, but similar in the sense of it's a trust building process. Because you are allowing someone to basically work on your physical body and try to heal you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just trust anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
Well, they say that about our business. You can't just trust anybody.
Well.
Right? we massage their finances. Here, they massage your shoulders and other parts.
Let's talk about a trade later.
Yeah,
In-kind trade. For sure. I mean, having seen the photos, I think what's amazing, I'm curious, as the spring and summer comes, are there certain things that people really like to do with the spa or enjoy there?
we'll do some seasonal treatments. I think maybe that's what you're referring
Yep.
to, as far as bringing in different ingredients that are on par with what's happening in winter, spring, summer, fall, whatever that may be. But yeah, I think what we see a lot of coming into the warmer months are people sort of doing the wineries and the breweries and then plugging in that spa treatment before or after. So they're getting, they're here for 2 or 3 days and then really taking advantage of not only the landscape, the spa, our dining, which is incredible, and then all the other accommodations in the community.
When would you say is your busiest time of the year?
We're starting right now. We're
Right.
going in, and sort of when COVID hit, we never took a hit because of it. Sort of in spite of it all, we thrived, which I think is unique to the landscape that we do have. People felt comfortable coming to the inn because it was very spread out.
Okay.
They needed to travel, they needed to get out, but it wasn't, they weren't having to fly to get here. They weren't jammed into a condensed hotel. And they were also not going to those wineries and breweries that I just talked about. So they were staying on the property, they were dining, they were enjoying multiple spa services. And then not to mention that the connection was lost and needed to be touched and needed to connect and needed to relax. So we were able to provide a lot of that, which was, again, we thrived in spite of it all. Yeah, I feel bad saying that sometimes, but.
Well, that's interesting because that's one of the things that's, being Europeans, right? I mean, we hug everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife's Italian, so I mean, even men, they kiss each other when they see each
Yeah.
other, right, and family-wise. And during COVID, it's
You
the
miss
one thing
that
that you miss that
connection.
you even your friends would like, hi, how you doing? It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
can't touch. So I can see that how you're missing that, and to be able to then go to a spa and say, I just need that, connectivity.
The power of touch is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. And I mean, we talk about it all the time, just the businesses and entrepreneurs that you thrive, you pivot, you do what you need to do to make the environment work no matter what's changing around you.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
We're used to that in our industry too. It's very feast or famine. In anywhere that you are, if you're in somewhere that has foot traffic, even where we are, it's just an up and down industry. So I think we're sort of designed to adapt to that, and we adapted well in this case.
That's fantastic. Love it. I mean, before I let you go, gotta ask, so where can people find you? Where can people either get in touch or get to?
Absolutely.
the spa?
Our in web page, so inatwillowgrove.com. We've got an Instagram, Millhouse Spa. Our Facebook page, again, Millhouse Spa. In at Willow Grove.
So lots of ways.
places.
Lots of ways.
Facebook,
Check us out.
Instagram,
Yep.
and website.
Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Call us, email us. We love to do that one-on-one and help personalize your experience. So we do have an online booking engine, but again, we love to design that together with you. So it's right before you come to the door, it's already sort of set.
Oh, that's
Oh, that's
fantastic.
fantastic. Yeah, that's
That
good.
is fantastic. About how far of a drive is it from Charlottesville area?
So again, I'm on the north end I'm on Earlysville, right behind the airport, and I'm about 50 minutes door to door. Now, downtown Charlottesville, you can get in about 35 minutes. I
that's
cannot
not bad at
express
all.
it enough. I have 2 lights between Earlysville and Orange. So
Two
again,
stoplights.
that distance sounds daunting, but it's really, really not.
No, and
and
it's-
yeah.
So if you leave at the right time, you go right through the green line on both of them. Is that
There you go.
I know how that works.
I'm just
Love it. We got perfect distance, just far enough you feel that you don't have
Exactly.
but it's
Yes.
not like you're going on a 4-hour
Yeah, it's
hike.
achievable in a day, or it's achievable. Yeah, it's the perfect distance. I agree.
That's fantastic. April, Nikki, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
coming
yes.
on.
Thank you for
It's been
having
such a
us.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And that invitation stands. We'd love to have you all, and then really
Please.
follow up with what was your experience?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah,
I think
that
it's a
sounds
great
great.
idea.
wonderful.
Let's do it. We'll do
Look
it.
forward to it.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, we'll do a little swapperoo here.
Absolutely.
That,
To,
that's,
just a little shout out and thank you to Ricardo Cruz Duran. He's watching us today. Ricardo, thank you. Great guy. Nick and I had lunch, coffee with
I know,
Ricardo
I know,
and with
exactly.
David. And
I
so
remember,
great
yeah.
guys, great Latino entrepreneurs here in Charlottesville. And so we're going to do our.
I feel relaxed already.
I know. I feel better already. I know. I can
imagine if I really got a massage.
100%. I need to take up.
I'm afraid I fall asleep though.
that offer.
It's like the massage is like start snoring. It's no good.
It's I know. You got to stay awake.
That's right.
You got to stay awake. I mean, I just not really. I mean, I know all the questions anyway.
Afterwards, you got to stay awake.
Afterwards, you got to stay awake.
That's right. That's right.
So I mean, from 2 great guests to another.
Absolutely.
We're really excited to welcome here Courtney Tatashian. She is the executive director of the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau. Courtney, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Yeah, same here. So I mean, tell us. I mean, first question, which I can imagine that people have, is tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to be with the Visitors Bureau, and a little bit about the Bureau itself.
Sure. So I've been with the Bureau for about 2.5 years. I got 6 months of normalcy before things went south.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm lucky to have had that time. I've been working for destination marketing organizations for a little over a decade. I spent 7 years in Arlington, Virginia, and then about a year and a half in Bristol, Virginia, and Tennessee.
Okay.
So I was representing a bureau in 2 different states, in 2 different
I
cities.
was about to say that's the one where like the state line is right halfway down the.
Yeah. And then I came here. So I'm really excited to be here. It's a great destination to promote what we do in the Convention and Visitors Bureau is tell visitors about Charlottesville and Albemarle County. And so without us, you may hear about Charlottesville and Albemarle County through word of mouth, but it's our job to really blast that message out here. And we end up being funded by the transient occupancy tax. A portion of that goes to our organization to generate more.
Okay.
So we're one of the money makers for the local government so that we're able to put some of that money back into the general fund for general services for the city and the county.
Well, it's
is
nice
very
to know, right?
important. I mean,
Sometimes you look at these taxes, you go to hotels, and now you know that part of it is really being
get
put to
people to
good
come.
use. Exactly. That's
Exactly.
amazing.
I mean, Jerry
yeah.
talks about it all the time
Yeah.
on I Love Seville, just
Yeah.
the importance of visitors
Oh, absolutely.
coming to Charlottesville. I mean, he phrases it more in economic terms that you want people to come and then
Spend their money.
Yeah, spend the money, pay the taxes, and leave.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Which
the
is-
brilliance of it is that, we're getting a lot of revenue coming in through lodging tax, meals and meals tax, sales tax. So
Exactly.
we want to get them as educated when they're coming here and once they're here as possible on all the different ways we can take their money.
Yeah. And what's important also is that if they have a good experience, the expectation is that they are then willing to come back or tell their friends and say, wow, that's a great spot to go, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, just think about what's available in Albemarle in addition to the fact that you have, nature, right? I mean, it's just beautiful. But, you talked about the wineries, you talked about the landscape, you talked about the spa. I mean,
all
there's
the
just
great
so
small
many
businesses.
things that you can do.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I'm curious. So I know visitors obviously is just so important for a lot of the small business community here, the entrepreneur. How does the Bureau work with small businesses and entrepreneurs in the community?
Yeah, so any business that is open to and of interest to visitors is a partner with us. That's how we talk about it. So we can't do our job without all of our partners. So part of my job and my team's job is to get out into the community and opportunities like this and tell folks that if they haven't thought about how they're tapping into the tourism economy, to reach out so that we can get them a listing on our website, visitcharlottesville.org. We put a lot of our advertising dollars into driving traffic to that website, so it can be a great way to have free advertising. We also have paid advertising on our website, but we really just want to represent all of the things that a visitor is interested in doing when they come here, primarily through that website. So that's one of the primary ways of helping those small businesses. We also have mobile visitor centers. So we have 2 Sprinter vans that are out in the community from Wednesdays through Sundays. And the travel specialists who work in those vans make recommendations to people as people come up, and they're like, well, we don't know what to do. We have this idea and that idea. So the more information our team knows, the more we can spread out visitors throughout our economy.
That's fantastic.
That
Which I
is.
mean, it's so important because I mean, sometimes all these small businesses that are here, you want to cater to visitors that come, and it's true. I think for a lot of people, probably their first interaction before they even come to Charlottesville is going to be that Visit Charlottesville website to say, 'cause you do it every town you go visit.
Absolutely. I was just gonna
and you
say.
click the page that says things to do,
Yeah,
where
that's
to
right.
eat, where to dine, where to stay, and just so important for, I think, entrepreneurs to know that you should be on that listing.
Yeah, and it costs you nothing, which is great.
Oh, which is fantastic.
always good.
It's even better for those small
That's even
businesses.
better. That's even better. So what are some of the other things that maybe people might not know about the Visitors Bureau in terms of things that it does, connections that it makes?
Yeah, so we're finding that people still don't know that we're mobile, so we've been mobile for about a year. We had a location on the downtown mall in the transit center, and during COVID needed to pivot just like everybody else.
Sure.
And so now we run those from mid-March. We'll be out on the streets again March 16th through mid-December. And we are out in the community at 5 different locations in the city and the county, Wednesday through Sunday. So that's one of our biggest changes that we've made since I've been here. We are also, helping to help people to return. Our tourism industry has seen some of that return already, but we want to make sure that we keep that going because just like our partners at the spa we're talking about earlier, we have seen a lot of that drive traffic. But as people are able to go further and further, DC is a huge market for us, and when they can go abroad again, we're going to have to reach further out to people who want to come here and know about us as a destination. So that's part of our job, is being ahead of that so that we can get people here and interested.
That's true, because let's face it, DC is not that far from here, right? So, I mean, it's easily a
Well, it's
day
easily
trip.
a day trip.
Right? And for them to know exactly where to go or what they want to see or how, how long it takes to get to A or B, it's fantastic. And I had a question on the roving, was it like a van?
Mobile.
Yeah, mobile visitor centers. So they're Sprinter vans that
Okay.
are outfitted to be visitor centers on wheels.
And so how do you decide where they go? I mean, what kind of decision was made? It's like where they're going to be on that particular day?
Yeah, so we were looking at going to the people where they are when they're there. So we're at King Family Vineyard on Sunday because
Okay.
there are lots of people there.
All right.
We're at Mickey Tavern during the lunch rush.
Okay.
So we're trying to be where the people are so that they don't have to find us. And we want people to be able to find us. But, as we're reinventing how we do so many things, we didn't want to be something that was hard to find, and we just wanted to be able to help people in the moment. And so that's how we ended
Which
up
makes
making that.
perfect sense.
Absolutely.
You're at
It's
the
the visual.
places that people might already know about, like your big draws, and then they go there, and then you come out of lunch at Mickey Tavern, you're like, what do I do now? This is
Exactly.
like was the big
Exactly.
thing I wanted to see. Oh, there's a visitor center right there.
That's
Let
right.
me go and see what else there is to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes perfect.
That was a great idea.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
a great idea.
I was just curious, but that's perfect. I mean, you just go to the places where you already know has a big attraction, and then boom, like you said, people say, "Wow, it's a visitor's truck. Let me see where else I can go, what else I can do," and it's right there.
That's fantastic.
Great
yeah.
idea.
I'm curious, what are some opportunities if locals want to interact with the Bureau or things that local people living here should know about it?
Well, that's one of the great things about the mobile visitor centers is we've popped up in places that people didn't know we existed because we spend most of our time talking to visitors. So it's been a great educational moment for us to be able to talk to residents about how we're saving them money, which is a pretty appealing prospect. But one of the best ways is, you have visitors coming to town, you don't know what to do with them, or you have a wedding that you're hosting here. We can give you materials, we can write up itineraries, we can help you with those things. So we make bags for people who have guests in town for weddings so that they have something to open and, information about the area when they come here. So, pretty much we're a great way to explore where you live already. And, everybody who comes to work on my team who hasn't worked in tourism before says, I had no idea there was so much to do because you're not paying attention. And so that's our opportunity, is to let people know all the great stuff that there is to do here.
Exactly. And it's so important because I remember because we moved here from California, 13 years ago now. And after you leave, you look back sometimes and you say, I didn't know that was I should have seen that before I moved. We should have gotten to see that. It was only 2 hours away. So you sit there and say, sometimes as a local, because you live here and you work and you have your daily life, you forget what's here and I should go see that. That's only half an hour from here, or that's only a 20-minute drive, or that's right downtown. I didn't even know it was there. So it can be like a learning experience to actually know your local visitors bureau and say, all right, if I was a visitor, what would I
What would I do?
see?
Exactly. Well, I always say that. I mean, I lived in New York for many years, right? And the only time I ever went to the Empire State Building or Statue of Liberty is when family came over. Because it's like, I want to go to the Empire State Building. Oh, yeah, good, because I haven't been there in like 20 years. You know what I mean? But that's true. And to be able to do that, to say, hey, you know what? why don't we pick a weekend and do something that's exciting here in Albemarle, as opposed to thinking, where do I go? Well, there's so many things we haven't done here, so why not? I mean, it's just that's just a fantastic opportunity.
Absolutely. And I think people also important to know the economics of it.
Yeah.
Of how it works. That, okay, yes, these things are important because they drive people here who then pay taxes, which then helps support the local economy for the people that are living here year round.
Well, and sometimes the tourism dollar makes the difference for a small business, especially when you're talking about restaurants.
Yes.
Of whether or not you're going to survive as a business. I mean, as much as I love going to wineries, I couldn't single-handedly keep one of them open and maintain having a job. So, we need that influx of visitors to be able to have the wealth of wineries and restaurants and all the amenities that we enjoy living here, because they're what keeps a lot of them afloat.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic point.
Now, on the website, does it also, sometimes I notice that there are, craft fairs or events that are going on. It's on the website. Do you also see that?
Yeah, so we use SceneThink since they're locally based here, and lots of our partners use them to pull in events on our website. So it's helpful for us to tell our partners, if you have an event, you can put it on there, you can make it public, and then you're going to have it go out through a number of different channels, including ours.
That's important.
Because we want to make it as simple and easy and actually doable.
Yes,
for
that's very good.
small businesses.
That's very clever. That makes a lot of sense. This way people can, because the event sometimes can be sort of that catalyst that you're coming here for an event that you want to do, but then you looked at the Visitors Bureau website, oh wait, while I'm here, let me check out this, or let me dine there, or let me go to this winery. Before you know it, that one event has spawned business.
And vice
for
versa,
other
you might be
entrepreneurs and vice
planning
versa.
to come here, all of a sudden, wow, I didn't know there was an event going on, let me go to that event, right? I mean, so you go on the website. I mean, it works both ways. It's fantastic.
It's one of the top visited pages on our website
It
for
is.
that very reason, because people are trying to get a sense of the place too, right? Like, I want to come here, but I don't know what kind of place it is. And so they go there and they discover all the wealth of things that we have going on.
That makes sense. So I mean, what is the website that people need to be thinking of, particularly as a small business? If you want to get listed there, what are the ways to get in touch and contact with you?
Yeah, so visit charlottesville.org. My contact information is there. My whole team's contact information is on there. So just go to the Contact Us section and reach out. I'm happy to talk to anybody and send you to the right person on my team. And it's always, I enjoy those touch points. That's a lot of what I love doing about my job, is getting to know those individuals in our community who are small business owners and what their goals are and how we can help.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, and I would really encourage all our entrepreneurs that have been on Today Mañana, that watch Today Mañana, to reach out and make sure. I mean, if you're not listed and you deal with tourism and visitors,
I didn't know this.
Listed.
I mean, this is great.
This is fantastic
because
information.
I guarantee you there are some small businesses here that don't even think about that, and it's a great opportunity.
No, absolutely.
Like Courtney says, it's free too, so it's free advertising for them.
Free advertising, I know.
Most of those small businesses have small budgets for advertising, so this is great.
As an entrepreneur, you can't turn down some free advertising.
Exactly.
And anything else before we let you go that you think people would like to know about the Visitor Bureau should think about?
Yeah, I mean, just don't hesitate to reach out. We love taking in ideas and having conversations. That's why we do what we do. So we're happy to be here, and thank you again for having me.
No,
it's been a pleasure. Thanks
so much for coming on, Courtney. It's been fantastic. Thank you again. So definitely visit charlottesville.org is where you want to go, and reach out, get connected. Thanks for watching the show, Bill McChesney, Lucrecia Morales. Thanks for watching the show. So be sure to get connected.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, those small businesses, they really have to reach out and make sure that they're on there, right? And because that's what you want. You want somebody to come in and look and say, oh, I'm going to be in that area. Wow, this is a great place. I think I'm going to go visit that restaurant or this shop or whatever it may be, and that's what you want. No, that's great. That's great. I had no idea. I mean, I knew these things existed, but
you don't realize the wealth of resources that they are for you.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't go beyond that in the sense of saying, how can this help small businesses, right? You just go there and you think, you don't think about it. But it's great that we invited them over, and hopefully small businesses in the area, entrepreneurs,
yeah, get connected and so
get connected.
forth. Absolutely, it's so important. Just thank you to Lee Oberson watching us on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching the show today, Lee. He says we need to make sure CIC businesses are aware of the Visitors Bureau. Absolutely.
That's right.
Definitely all those fantastic local businesses that are part of Community Investment Collaborative. Let's reach out to them. If you're watching, get them on the...
Well, because now we know, right? I mean, it's like I always say, you don't know what you don't know, right? So now we know, and now when somebody comes to us and say, by the way, do you know that you can reach out to, to these folks, and they're going to put you on the website, on their list, and if you have an event, reach out to them and say, we're having an event. So more people will come, more people will see it, and that's exactly what these small businesses need and want.
Exactly. That's what we want to support. Lee Oberson, a great friend of small business here in Charlottesville. Thanks for watching the show today. This is just love desks like this that just give us so much information and passion about what they do.
Yeah.
And I know one of the things we have been thinking about as we talked about, the ability to go out and spend and participate in the economy is just, it's been on your mind a little bit too, the new inflation numbers and just people's ability to do some of these things. To think about. It's been a lot on your mind lately. The new numbers. Burdett, what was today's headline inflation number?
Well, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index today was 7.9%. So once again, we break a record of the highest in the last 40 years. It seems like we keep saying that every time there's an inflation number. And obviously, the majority of the inflation is food and energy, right? And on energy, we see that. Literally. This is. I'm not joking. I went to Costco, which is where we get our gas. I went to Costco Monday, and the gentleman was changing design, right? And I know him because I see him all the time, and I was telling him, hold on, wait, don't change it. Wait until I get my gas. It's too late. It's already on the machine. So it went from $3.59 to $3.79. I went to put gas yesterday on the truck. It was $4.04. That's just unbelievable. 1 week. Yeah. We're talking about 50 cents, 60 cents. That's
so
just
dramatic. We
incredible.
Haven't seen it in a long time.
Exactly. And the issue is that this is hitting now, right? These numbers that we saw were already from last month.
Exactly.
So we're not going to see a decline in inflation for some time. Mm-hmm. Right, and so there's a number of things that are, I know, concerning me, with regard to, how do you position portfolios, in this type of environment, right? And the markets have been very wild. The war started, bonds went through the roof in the sense of bond market went up, interest rates came down, right? Because people rushed to safety, and U.S. Treasuries are the safest instrument in the world.
Of course.
So they rushed to that. So you see interest rates come down. Then all of a sudden, yesterday, obviously, oil prices dropped by, $14, $15. Mm-hmm. Stock market went up like crazy. Bonds went down like crazy. So there's been so much volatility. And it just weighs on investors, and it weighs on anybody that owns IRAs, 401ks. They get nervous.
Of course.
They're not thinking about long term. They're thinking what they're seeing in the newspaper today, or on the television, or on their tweets, wherever they get their information. But what I thought was interesting also was, when we have this type of inflation, right, we have to stand back and say, is this going to continue now? Is this inflation, quote unquote?
At what point does it become, like I talked about, Jerry, self-sustaining?
Exactly. Are we going to continue to see a rise in this kind of inflation? And it doesn't have to be a rise, but even if you go from 7.9 to 5%, and you stay at 5% for a few years,
that's dramatic.
That's dramatic, right? So what can happen in order to squash that, right? And we already know from the 1970s that the only way to really bring down inflation is to essentially take money out of the system. And
take a lot of money out of the system. A dramatic increase in interest rates.
And the thing is, there's been so much money in the system that you say, how do we do that, right? And so we know that the Federal Reserve has been tapering, right? The talk is that they're going to raise rates here in March. There's also talk about whether or not they're going to begin to sell part of their portfolio to, again, bring back money out of the system. Mm-hmm. But you're in a situation, this is a little different, remember, because we're in a situation where the economy is not necessarily booming, right? We came out of COVID. We've had issues. We had issues with inventory, et cetera. So it's not like this economy was just bursting out of its beams, and you say...
you don't look at it as this is an overheated,
right,
too much demand, not too much inventory. It's not one of those crazy scenarios that we're
Exactly.
looking at. Like the usual, what you would expect at the peak, right before you did, your business cycle peak before a recession. You're not seeing that kind of demand.
No, you're not. You're not. And that's been the whole issue, right? So in other words, if we begin to squash inflation by raising rates, how is that going to impact this economy, right? I mean, if you really have 7.9%, and we know that last time the producer price index was up in the 9%, right?
Which
That has to filter down, and we've already seen some of that filtering down, and we know PPI is going to be higher this time, right? So that's got to filter down too. So when you see that, and you begin to pull money out of the market, what is that going to do to the economy of the U.S.? The global economy is in the same situation. So are we going to see a recession in the next 6, 12 months? And I think that's a question that one has to ask themselves. Are we going to see that or not, right? Because it is a possibility. If you begin to choke inflation, you are going to basically choke the economy, right? And inflation itself is hurtful, right? I mean, in other words, we've already seen the numbers that come out that people are reducing their driving habits. In other words, instead of going out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday shopping, I'm going to do all my shopping on Monday, right? And so and you go shopping, you say, maybe I really don't need that extra butter, or maybe I'll buy this particular butter, or whatever it may be that you spend your money on. You may say, I'm going to hold back. Well, that's there you are. You already
when 70% of your economy is consumer spending.
That's right.
That can really put a damper now on the economy, on growth.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing that I know you and I talk about a lot, and last year we made that large decision about divesting from China because we just weren't happy about the fact that if you don't know if you can't look at the financials, or you can't have a third party look at financials that's not their own, that's not the government of that particular country, how do you justify investing in those assets? So we're now in the same boat with Russia, right? So they basically, at this point, the bank says we're not going to provide any information, right? And so once again, if you're not going to give me any information, and considering all the sanctions we put on it, I would highly recommend that if you own any, Russia market is not as big as the China market, right? But Luke Oil is an example, right? If you own any any Russian stocks, you have to think about it. You have to think about whether or not you want to be in that sector. And if you own especially Russian bonds, and you may not own any particular Russian bonds, but look at what bond funds you're in. If you're in international bond funds,
you might have some.
Take a look at them, because pretty much you're going to see some of that. And I think it's March. So March 16th is a large payment, and then in April 4th is about a $2 billion dollar-denominated bond that comes due. We'll see what happens, because if they default,
that's a major.
And remember, 1998, when we had the Russian crisis, they defaulted on their domestic bonds. They never defaulted on the international bonds. They were restructured, right? Now, the restructuring was extremely painful, but they never defaulted. And the reason that's important is because all the credit swaps that are out there, and the big companies, the Goldman Sachs of the world, the PIMCOs of the world, all those companies have large credit swaps on their books. If Russia defaults, those credit swaps are due. That's extremely painful for those companies. So again,
well, unfortunately, the difference now is obviously 1998. When the Russian crisis occurred, there wasn't quite the antagonism between Russia and the West that we have today. Obviously, today, between sanctions and the fact that obviously the entire West has condemned the invasion of Ukraine, there's more incentive, not less, for Russia to default on foreign debt. Like, there's no incentive at this point for Russia to say, well, I'll just default on my domestic debt and pay all my now enemies.
Right.
There's more of an incentive, if anything, to say, oh, no, I'll pay my domestic debts and default on you guys.
Well, that's what China did, right? China paid their domestic debt. Their international debt is when they held back. So is the world changing? What is happening there in the financial world? So again, it's you and I can't say we lose sleep, but these things certainly are in the forefront of our discussions.
Again, is that we always talk about, it's not a question of panicking or being worried.
No.
It's a question of being aware. This way you then can look at your portfolio and say, given the information I now have at my disposal, given the fact that what I've learned from Xavier today, is my portfolio still in line with the risk that I want to take? In other words, given that I now know that the Russian companies that might be in my portfolio are not going to be providing me with third-party verified financial statements, do I still feel comfortable with that risk? And the answer might be yes. The answer might be, I'm not going to make any changes to my portfolio because I'm still comfortable with this level of risk.
Right.
But now that you have new information, are you still comfortable? You need to ask yourself the question, given what I know, given the fragility of the U.S. economy, given where I see inflation, given where Xavier's saying inflation is, do I feel comfortable with the level of risk in my portfolio?
Right.
And then you can therefore decide if you want to reduce the level of risk or if you're comfortable where you're at. And again, it's not a question of get out of the market.
No.
It's a question of looking at what you're invested in and saying, do I change the percentages? Do I drop that percent that's in Russian stocks to zero and put it somewhere else in the market? You don't put it in cash, obviously, with the 8% inflation. But do I put it somewhere else so that now my portfolio will be more in line with the risk that I want to take?
That's very well put. That's exactly right. I mean, that's what you're constantly looking at is the risk that I'm taking commensurate with the return that I'm expecting to get, or am I willing to live with that risk? And sometimes the downside risk is bigger than the upside risk. So you say, it's not where I want to be at this point in time. Well, that's not the structure that I want in my portfolio. So yeah, I need to diversify and do something else. But anyway, so there's just a lot of information, both domestically and internationally, that is being provided on a minute by minute basis.
I think to remember when you go out, when you see those restaurant prices, it's not your local restaurateur trying to gouge you.
No.
Right? He's facing the same inflation that you're facing.
Absolutely.
And his margin is small. And when your margin is small and your costs go up, you don't have much choice.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Gas prices going up, impact, all those tankers that bring food into this country, right? It impacts all the trucks that are producing, that are generating, bringing, food from A to B. And so by the time it gets to the restaurant, right, he's saying, wait a minute, that trucker he got charged more, the trucker is charging you more. Now that piece of chicken they used to buy at, $4 a pound is now, $6 a pound. As a small restaurant, you can't say, well, I'm going to eat that cost, because if you do that, you're done, right? Exactly. So you have to pass it along. You have no choice, right?
Important information.
Yeah, tough.
Important things to think about, to be sure. Well, I enjoyed today very much.
No, so did I.
Learned so much. Got to meet some great people that really love what they do.
Yeah.
So always love it.
And it's true. It's funny. When you think about spa, sometimes like.
Yeah, but it changed my perspective. But this actually feels warm and inviting, not sterile.
It does. Yes. Yeah. The idea to, especially where they are, just going out there, you begin to relax, and then, it's probably not a bad idea to wind down for a few hours or half a day.
They don't, maybe more than one day. Overnight. I always love being on here with you.
Absolutely.
Always love
Thank you. Thank you so much. I enjoy it.
Definitely appreciate Judah behind the camera today. He was definitely making it work. 2 people, 3 people.
Yeah, we gave him a few surprises today, didn't we?
We gave him a couple surprises today.
I'm sure he loved that.
Yeah, so be sure to check us out next week. We'll have on Rob and Don from Castle Hill Cider as well, and so that'll be fantastic. Those guys are always a blast to be on the show. And then, of course, always appreciate our partners in Vitae Spirits, Sirius Tradic Insurance, GBS Financial Services, the Gym Seville, Aqua Seville Hand Car Wash, and, allergy season. Could not hold that any longer.
Appreciate that too, don't we?
I know. Allergy season is the one thing I don't appreciate.
Especially Seville Car Wash. Oh, you got allergy on your car?
I need to wash me. Just spray me with that hose and get this pollen off me at this time of year. But always appreciate all our partners being presented by Emergent Financial Services, and always with Forward Adelante, the premier Latino networking group here in Charlottesville, Virginia. And of course, most of all, appreciate you, our audience, thanks to everyone who watched, commented, let us know that you were watching today. Be sure to like and share. You can always find us Apple Podcasts, Spotify, LinkedIn,
Wow.
Instagram,
So many things to
Facebook,
remember.
YouTube. There's so many places you can find Today Mañana. Let us know what you're thinking. Any entrepreneurs, great people you know you want to come on, send them our way. We'd love
Absolutely.
to feature them on our show. And so just thank you all so much for watching us this week. We look forward to seeing you next week. But until then, hasta mañana.